Thank you for that lovely welcome. As you've heard, I am the head of RI and HP for COCUP, which, as most of you will know, has now replaced BLSUP and will shortly be subsumed under the much larger umbrella of ARSUL. So, to sum up, that's COCUP replacing balls up, soon to become Arsenal. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's been a bit of an ATH, an annoying technical hitch. For some reason, the projector... Oh, have you managed to get it to work? No? No luck. Well, I shall just have to act out for you what would have been on my PowerPoint presentation. As you're probably aware, yes? No? Well, perhaps I should fill in a bit of background. If you do know this, you'll probably find that you don't, in fact, because most of it has been reworked in any event. Now, at this point, we should be looking at a rather jolly animation of a pie chart. Blue, grey-green, yellow, and a sort of rather lovely chartreuse that shows integration, training, development, and people. Because, of course, these elements do remain integral to COCUP, as they were, to an extent, with Bullseye. Now, as you can see, the largest share of the pie is, of course, people. And that is something that certainly, well, to an extent, isn't going to be changing. Next, we should be looking at a transfer of one of the original overhead transparencies from a presentation about overheads. And this is something that certainly hasn't changed. Well, in fact, some of the text has changed, partly because of the move to cut overheads, overheads, not overheads. And partly because of the greater transparency in the whole organisation and the organisation as a whole. And in point of fact, the transparency itself has actually changed, because when it was transferred over to the PowerPoint presentation, one of our geniuses at IT finally managed to make the whole thing fit on the screen, which of course had always been a problem with the overhead, about the overheads. What the overhead would be saying is aims, followed by a series of bullet points, integration in the wider sense, training aims and development, and people. Because COCUP feels it's important to stress the aims, which are seen as integration in the wider sense, training aims and development and people. Now, this is where the major changes are going to arise, particularly in terms of PUBs, extrasites, darning needles and salmon. I shall act out for you the new structure as a schematic diagram. At the top, a box containing the word in a very small illegible font. Below that, a delicately etched fine line leads down to a second box reading in the same font. A final line leads all the way down into the twin areas of integration and people. Well, it's probably better if you'd be looking at it from the other side. Let me see. Integration and people, with a row of arrows all the way up and back into Fisticum. With the changeover to SUFs and TCPs, there has to have to be some minor changes to the AUPBs, but I can assure you that these are absolutely minor and will not, despite what you may have read in the trade press, lead to a very small number of redundancies. Now, at this point, we should be trying to confuse you with a very complicated graph which shows indicated levels of estimated happiness. I think this is very important, particularly now that JOBs are to be replaced by FUKUPs. Our presentation ends with the word people, emblazoned on a big green arrow which goes all the way up to the top of the screen and round 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 until it disappears into Arsenal. I think that should be clear. Are there any questions? The lady in the front row, because you have a question? No, it must be just the way we're sitting. It's Maureen from accounts, isn't it? At least for the moment. Are there any other questions? No? No questions? Oh, in that case, I think this has been an enormous success. Do pick up a handout and don't forget to fill in a questionnaire. Thank you for listening. I think it went rather well, didn't you?